Welcome back to A Tale of Three Cabins. I'm down in southern Ohio and it's a little dreary down here, kind of cold. There's not going to be no campfires in my little icy pond here this evening. Looks like there's going to be a heavy fog overnight and I'm going to head out in the morning to do some muzzleloader hunting. I gotta tell you, it's been unusually quiet in the woods for this little trip that we're on. No one is seeing anything, and that's kind of unusual. Usually you'll see something, at least in the distance, but it's very quiet. No deer to be found anywhere. One cool little aspect of this trip is a buddy of mine who bought my old ATV, and there it is right there, brought it down to use. So I got to use my old ATV again and made it up to Widowmaker with no problem. My Polaris Ranger could not make it up because it was a little slick and icy. Well, it's the afternoon now and I'm in another spot and I'm still not seeing anything, and about the most interesting thing in the woods is me. Stay thirsty, my friends. Well, I've logged about 9 hours in the woods so far and there's nothing to report. So we're going to hang out inside and enjoy the evening where it's nice and warm, and kind of contemplate the future of this cabin. You can
You might have watched a video earlier in the summer that I mentioned this could be the last hunting season for this cabin, and I had the intentions for that to be true, but with the way COVID is, my delay on the pole barn that's being built, it's kind of setting everything back a little bit. And I really want to build the pole barn at home because if I knock this place down, I'll have some place to store some of the things that I want to bring back here once we have a new place rebuilt. I get a lot of comments that say this is the perfect little hunting shack, and really like it online. I appreciate everybody's comments, and I do too. It's very quaint, it's very easy to upkeep, but it's getting a little long in the tooth, and it's got some issues that I either got to spend the money or it's just worth leveling it and starting from scratch and build something a little bit better that's a little bit more accommodating. And I'll tell you what I mean.
So I've gone up on the roof several times with a can of tar and tried to patch leaks that are forming up there. And that's just plain and simple. The roof's going to have to be replaced. It's damaged a lot of the wood. You can tell here on the porch on the overhang. There's multiple leaks. Some of those leaks are starting to occur inside the cabin. So that's one thing that needs to be taken care of. I'm a big fan of metal roofs, and putting it on here to me might just be a little bit of a waste of money, and that's another reason why I'm considering leveling this place. Not to mention a lot of the sheeting is going to have to be replaced. Now on the interior, everything looks okay. It's not bad. When you walk on the floor, though, it's getting a little wavy. The floor seems to be warping, and that's the folks that built it before me. It's up on pylons, and they put just pink insulation underneath it. And a lot of that is being torn off. There's a lot of moisture that seeps through from the ground, and that's just creating a problem with the floor. Now we do have running water, and we basically get it from this rain gutter right here, and it goes into a tank that's inside this little water room. It's basically like a little cistern. That first pipe washes the dirty water that first comes off the roof and kind of diverts to the right. And then after a ball goes up, it diverts the cleaner water to the left. A lot of times in the winter, if we get a cold snap, this will freeze and it'll be a block of ice. So an option in the future would be if we dug a hole, we could put it underground, or we could maybe have a basement under a new cabin and have it inside there and monitor it. I've been to other hunting camps where they don't have this luxury of running water or taking showers with a hot water heater on the inside. So this has served us well. We've kept these pipes warm in the wintertime with a heat tape so they don't freeze. But that's not always the case on the inside. My friend John always laughs at me because I've had this twig now for probably 12 years, and that's my little security system to lock this door. So I mentioned freezing, and like I said, we usually have heat tape on a lot of these lines, but we don't always get all the water out, and I do blow it out with a compressor several times before we leave to make sure I get all the water out of the pipes. But a lot of times I'll come back, and if we get a cold snap, I'll usually find one pipe that you would think, how did water get stuck in there, and it'll be cracked. So it would be nice to design a system where when you drain the water out, everything is pretty much gravity fed to get it drained out. And maybe I wouldn't have these issues because I really don't want to heat the place if I'm not going to be here. Now the bedroom, my wife used to like coming down until we got a dog that likes to sleep with us all the time. And to have me, my wife, and the dog in this bed just doesn't work. A lot of times she ends up going on the couch, and then the dog might follow her to the couch. So sleeping has always been an issue. It would be nice to have a little larger bedroom and a larger bed for more comfortable sleep. So the bedroom, along with this entryway, was actually part of the original porch of this cabin, and they enclosed it, and then they extended the porch out further. Having 5 people and their gear soaking wet coming in from a long day of hunting is kind of tight in this quarters, and it might be nice to have, like I said, a basement or an underground garage where all that stuff could be stored. The bathroom has always worked out for us. I don't mind the compost toilet there on the left. The shower is halfway decent. Like I said, there's a lot of hunt camps where they're taking shower out of a bag. And, you got a small sink here to wash your hands. Now, if you're staying upstairs, though, that's a little bit of a different story, and especially if you're tall. If I'm up here, I can kind of stand in the very center of the room, but I got to tilt my head down a little bit. And there's many mornings where I've heard people getting up, and I hear a large crack, and they're usually whacking their head on the ceiling. But it stays pretty warm up here. All the heat from downstairs usually rises in the evening, so sometimes it might get a little stuffy.
So I'm doing this video not so much to tell you what my plans are, but to get your opinion, really. And I enjoy your comments, and I enjoy your advice. And maybe some of you have gone through this, and maybe not, but maybe you have some good ideas. Maybe there's people out there that are proficient in some of the things that I want to do here, and I always respect your opinion. That's been off and on rain most of the day here, and it happens to be on right now. But if we do level this, be rebuild, as I'd like to plan, I'd like to build into this hillside and make this a garage down below, so you come in and you could pull a car in, you could put an ATV down there, even my tractor, and then have the first floor is going to be a little bit more elevated, a little bit of second floor, and that way it'll take advantage of the nice views of the mountainside in front of us, and we could have some nice large windows in the front here, not too extravagant, but a little bit nicer. Our plan is, and maybe I could get an opinion on this, is it worth me trying to dismantle this place myself? And the reason I would want to do that is maybe I'd want to salvage some of the lumber. We talked about making some blinds to go up on the top of the hill for hunting in the future. We're not getting any younger, and it might be nice to be inside a little area that you could have a heater and get out of the inclement weather, get out of the snow, get out of the cold, and make your hunting experience a little bit nicer. So another thing is a place to go to the bathroom while this thing is leveled. I can take my composting toilet and maybe make a little outhouse out of some of the leftover lumber. And I'm only talking about saving the walls, the roof. I think if I rented a construction dumpster, I'm talking about disposing, of course, the roof system, the floors. But if I could salvage some of the studs and some of the T111 off the walls, like I said, I could build some blinds. I could build a little outhouse to have a temporary toilet. And that way, if I brought a tent here, or maybe a small camper, or maybe a bigger camper, who knows? If I do get a camper of some sort of pop-up, or maybe hard-walled with some bump outs, I could put it down here, be out of the way of any of the constructions going on. I could clear this out a little bit more with JD and be close to the campfire and to where the things are going to be happening. Just to have a place to temporarily be. My goal would be to have somebody frame it in and get the shell under weather, and then I would try to finish the inside. So like I said, this would be a garage down here below, pulling in. We'd have to dig out some of the dirt. I could have my utilities down there. Below in the garage would be kind of like a semi-basement. It would be half into the hillside. I could wall off a portion and maybe keep that heated to a point where I'm not going to freeze any pipes or mess with the utilities I put in, whether that's a water tank that I go with the rainwater still, but with a nicer tank and maybe a filtration system, or a little furnace. We'd probably have to go off of propane. I could possibly get free gas because we have a well on our property, but I would have to look in to see what it would cost to tie into that or trench a pipe over to it. So there's a lot to consider. I don't know if anybody's taken on a project like this similar. If you would think it would be not worth my while to just have somebody come here with a big track hoe or something and just level it and carry it all the way and not worry about trying to take anything out of it. I could bring JD down here and help out with some of the demolition and carrying some of the stuff over to the dumpster. It might be a nice little video or a nice project. So a lot to consider before this happens. Like I said, I want to get that pole barn done. That way I can take some of the stuff out of here and store it in there, the stuff that I don't mind if mice gets into it. So the furniture, I'm still going to have to find a place to put that, the beds, some of the other things. But for the most part, that's the plan. Don't know if it's going to happen. Like I said, the lumber prices have gone up temporarily because of COVID. So is this the last hunting season of this cabin? I don't know. It could be next hunting season or the one after that. But I don't want to wait too long. You start getting up in years, and you want to take advantage as much time as you got when you're still healthy. You can still walk up and down those hills and enjoy things. So I appreciate everybody watching. I hope you enjoy these videos, and subscribe and keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody. Is there deer back there?
What's that?
Where's the deer at?